Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear students. This is Miss Layla Al-Jihani. Inshallah, today this is our last lesson in this semester. Today, inshallah, we will cover the last unit we took. We will summarize this unit. Our unit we will summarize today, inshallah, is drive slowly. We already covered many aspects in it. Let's revise what we covered in our lesson. For the vocabulary, we talked about parts of car, expressions related to driving. Okay, we had some vocabulary related to international traffic signs. Okay, and for the function, we talked about cars, driving, and traffic signs. Also, we practice giving advice. Do you remember what do we use when we give advice? Also, inshallah, today we will go through that part of grammar when we say you must, you should, when we give advice. صح? Express obligations, say how people do things. This is the part we covered, the things we covered in our lesson. For the grammar, we covered modal auxiliaries, must, mustn't, must not, and should, shouldn't. Okay? Also, we covered adverbs of manner, inshallah, Inshallah, today we will go through it also. Can, could, will, would, report commands and requests. For the listening, we listened for specific information in a conversation about driving. We heard a conversation about driving and we answered questions related to it. For the pronunciation, we learned how to pronounce the vowel sound schwa, the schwa sound in should and must. Okay? The reading, we read the article is right. We learned the history of and the difference between the cities, the ones who drive on the right and drive on the left. Okay, this is what we covered in the reading. For the writing, we wrote an essay about why the driving age should be raised. Okay. For the project, make a poster with a list of driving tips. We gave our friend who is a new driver, we gave him some advice and some tips, okay, about safety rules. This is to sum up everything we covered in our unit, drive slowly. Okay, we have, inshallah, today we have 3 exercises. For the first exercise, it's related to the adverbs of manner. Do you remember adverbs of manner? We have adjectives. Do you know why do we use adjectives? Like, for example, she has a long hair. Long is an adjective, okay? So long is describing hair. The adjectives describe people and things, okay? We are describing people and things. This is the difference between adjectives and adverbs. Adverbs, they describe verbs. They describe, like the title, drive slowly. Slowly, it's an adverb. It describes the verb drive, okay? Also, it describes adjectives or it describes another adverb, okay? So for the adverbs, they have 3 things. Either they describe a verb, an adjective, another adverb. For the adjectives, they only describe nouns, okay? Now, for the adverbs of manner are normally formed by adding a ly. We only add ly to the adverbs, okay, to an adjective. So it will be an adverb. They express how something is done. We are describing how something is done. So we are describing a verb, okay, in adverbs of manner. How did he drive? He drove slowly, okay? We added ly to the adjective slow. And here, how did she walk? She walked quickly. We have the adjective quick and we added ly so it can describe the verb walked. How did she walk? Okay? The adjective that end in an L, we double the L. Normally we only add ly, صح? But sometimes when it ends with an L, we double the L. Like careful, it ends with an L. We double the L and add Y. We don't only add Y, we double the L and Y. Okay? Sometimes the adjective and the adverb have the same form. Sometimes we don't change anything. Like what, ya miss? He is a fast driver. So here it's an adjective. We are describing the driver, the noun, okay? He is a fast driver. He drives fast. So we didn't add ly or anything. Fast here, it's an adverb. We describe the way he drives, okay? Another example, he is a hard worker. He works hard, okay? Hard here, it's an adverb of manner. Also, sometimes we have irregular form. Sometimes, like here, the adverb form of good is well. Sometimes it's not the same form. We don't add ly. Sometimes we change the word completely, like good, we change it to will, okay? He is a good player. This is the adjective. He plays well. This is the adverb, okay? For this exercise, I want you to read these statements and then try to write it again. Change the adjective into adverbs, okay? We have here, were the children safe when they arrived home? Did the children arrive home safely? So here we have this first example. Were the children safe when they arrived? So the adjective is safe. This is an example, number one. The adjective is safe, okay? So, and the noun we're talking about is children, okay? Were the children safe when they arrived home? طيب, here we want to know how did the children arrive, صح? So we say, did the children arrive home safely? We changed the adjective safe, we added ly to it, okay? Can you try to read 2 and 3 until 7 and change it? Look for the adjective. You should always be polite when you speak to your elders. When you speak to older people, you should be polite. I think even in Islam, this is what our Prophet always encouraged us as Muslim to respect the elders, صح? So you should be polite. How can we change it using adverbs of manner? Think about it. Number 3, Maha is a quick learner, but she is a slow reader. So we have here 2 statements. We have quick and slow. Try to change the sentence and make it as form it using adverbs of manner, okay? It's easy to communicate with others when you are fluent in English. So here the word is fluent. And we have easy, okay? Ahmed is a hard worker and he is good at his job. So also here we have 2, hard and good. Be careful when you cross the street. We have careful. There are some dangerous drivers. So dangerous drivers, okay? Dangerous is an adjective. The last one, 7, he is a fast and reckless driver. So we have also here 2 adjectives. We have to change it into adverbs in forming the sentences, okay? So for number 1, so it's here, this is the example. The number 2, you should always be polite when you speak to your elders. We said you should, so we write it the same, always. So we look for the verb and we put it here. Speak, and we add ly, politely to your elders, and complete this statement. This is how we form it. Number 3, Maha learns quickly, but she reads slowly. So we start with the verb and then we put the adverb. Number 4, you can communicate easily. So easy, we change it to easily with others when you speak English fluently. So fluent, we change it to fluently. 5, Ahmed works hard. Hard here, we didn't change anything, like fast. It has the same form, صح? And he does his job well. Good, changed to well. Number 6, cross the street carefully. Okay, we have the adjective careful. We added ly to it. Some people drive dangerously. Number 7, he drives fast and recklessly. Okay, so we changed the statements using adjectives and form statements using adverbs of manner. Okay, hopefully this will make everything easier and everything clear. For the second exercise, we finished the first one. For the second exercise, it's related to the vocabulary we covered in our first lesson. Do you remember our first lesson? It is about cars and the names of the things we see around the car. Okay? Like for example, here for the outside part of the car, the exterior part, we have a windshield wipers, hood, bumper, headlights, signal light, gas tank, and trunk. These are the words and the vocabulary for the things we see outside the car. What about inside the car? What can we see? For the interior part, we have a dashboard. Here we see it, a GPS, ignition, steering wheel, brake pedal, gas pedal, gloves compartment. Here it's like a drawer. You have, they call it gloves compartment, automatic transmission, seat, belt, rear view mirror. Okay, so these are the things we can see around inside the car. We will use this knowledge, these vocabulary, and also here we have the meaning of the traffic signs. Okay, like here, speed limit, when you see 50, so the speed limit is 50. If you see 80, the speed limit is 80. Here, do not enter, no entry. Here, when people are crossing, here for the parking, here no parking, danger, no passing, so you can't pass other cars. This is a stop sign. Okay, now for this exercise 2, we will practice using the vocabulary. Okay, what should you do? You have to use one word from every box. So for every exercise, you should choose one. Like here, you should drive with both hands on the steering wheel. Okay, we have steering from this box and wheel from this box. Okay, so you have to choose one from here and one from here to complete the statements. Number 2, you can see the traffic behind you in the. How can, when you are driving, how can you see the traffic behind you? How can you, which word? Excellent, it's mirror, but what about here? Which word? Excellent, rear view mirror. So we write here, rear view mirror. Okay? Number 3, you should always fasten your what? When you're traveling in a car. So when you drive a car, you have to fasten what? What do we call it? So here we have, excellent, seat, and here we have belt. So seat, belt. Okay? What about number 4? Before turning, you must always turn on the in advance. When you want to turn right or left, what should you do? You have to, what should you do? There is something flashing. We call it, it's a light. Excellent. So we have light, but from this box, what should we use? We call it signal light. You have to turn on your signal light. Okay? This is for number 4. What about 5, 6, 7, and 8? I want you to do it as pair. Think about it, talk about it with you and your friends. Try to do it together, okay? He stepped hard on the what? And the car stopped suddenly. How do we stop the car? We Press on what? Think about it. 6, before a long journey, it's a good idea to fill up the what? What should we fill up? Okay? 7, slow down the, when we say slow down, that means what? Okay? In the school zone is 30 kilometers per hour. So this is, what do we call it when we have a 30 inside the circle? What do we call this? Okay? 8, he didn't see the what and missed the exit before the highway. He missed the exit for the highway. What did he miss? Try to complete it. Pause the video. Complete the statements with your friends. And now let's see the answers together. Okay, for the first one, as we said, number 2, we have rear view mirror. We did it together. Number 3, seat belt. Number 4, we have signal light. What about number 5? He stepped hard on the brake pedal. We call it a brake pedal, and the car stopped suddenly. Number 6, before a long journey, it's a good idea to fill up the gas tank. Okay, you have to fill it up. 7, slow down the speed limit. The word here, the words we should use, speed limit. For the last one, 8, he didn't see the road sign and missed the exit for the highway. So we combine 2 words from one word from every book to complete this exercise. Hopefully it's easy. It's a good practice for the vocabulary we covered in our unit. Drive slowly. We finished exercise 2. We have the last exercise, which is exercise 3. We need to revise the modal auxiliaries, okay? And we use these modal auxiliaries to give advices. Do you remember when we did the project together? We used these to give advices. Do you remember? So here it's just revising and this part of grammar. When we are talking about rules, we said we differentiated between must, mustn't, should, and shouldn't. How we differentiate? When we are talking about rules, we use must and mustn't. When we are giving advice, we say should and shouldn't. And we said that must and mustn't are more formal. صح? Do you remember? So the modal auxiliary, we use must to talk about laws and rules, as we said. For example, you must stop at the traffic lights. You must not park on the sidewalk. Keep in mind, when we use the modal auxiliaries, the verb after it, it's in its base form. We don't add s, ed, nothing. We just put the verb in its base form, okay? Should and shouldn't, we use it to give advice, as we said. You should drive under the speed limit. You shouldn't eat when you're driving, okay? Also these 2 examples using should and shouldn't. The verbs, if you can notice, we also use the base form of it, okay? As we said, must, mustn't, must not, and should not, they are modal auxiliaries. The difference is must is stronger than should. We use it more formally to talk about rules. It has more formal or official tone, okay? This is the difference between must and should. Now for this exercise, as we did in our project, you have to write down 5 statements using should, shouldn't, must, mustn't, do while driving. This is something similar. You have to give advices or write down rules using must and mustn't, or give an advice using should and shouldn't. Things we should and shouldn't do when we are driving, okay? Think about it, pause the video, try to write down the sentences. Like for example, you can say, you should always keep your hands on the steering wheel. This is one example. Think about other things. Think about, use the vocabulary we did in exercise 2, Write down the statements, look at each other's sentences, and keep in mind when you are writing the statements, you should use the base form after the modal auxiliaries. You should use the base form of the verb, okay? Let's see the examples I wrote here with you. Drivers should wear their seat belts. Drivers shouldn't speed. Drivers must always obey the road signs. Driver must stop at a red light. Driver mustn't park on the sidewalk. Okay, these are statements to revise and use the vocabulary we covered in our unit, Drive Slowly. And also, how do we use modal auxiliaries? Hopefully, this is very helpful for all of you. And you should, inshallah, in the future, when you become drivers, you should follow these rules. Inshallah, keep it in mind. Inshallah, I will see you next time. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next semester, inshallah.